Right, let's have a look at last week's local football action. Starting with Paul Lyon. How did Whitney Town get on the weekend, Paul?
Hi, Colin. Kept up our good run. It was County Cup weekend on Saturday, the Charity Cup this time. Whitney Town won 5-2 in a local derby against Charlbury. Good crowd. I think considering that Oxford United weren't playing, probably helped a little bit. But we had nearly 150 there watching Whitney Town v Charlbury. And yeah, 5-2, great result. Looking forward to see who we get in the next round.
Oxford City were also had a good weekend, Paul, as well.
Yeah, FA Trophy weekend. Oxford City played against a team I've never ever heard of before, Sporting Calcer. I've got no idea where they're from. Patrick might be able to give us a bit more information about them, but 5-0 win for City, which is it's always good when you can get a game like that. Yes, it's a potential banana skin, isn't it? But if you can get a nice win like that, it's a good confidence booster for the team after having a really tough start to the season. And it's really good to see some of our youngsters get on the score sheet. Young Phil Croker got a goal, and Jake, J young Carbon. I always forget his name. There's so many Carbons at Oxford City, aren't there?
Yeah, there are. We'll pick up on that in a minute. But Patrick, you were at that game and you got some highlights as well, I think, to introduce.
Yeah, I'm sure we've seen the highlights already in the show, but plenty of goals on show on Saturday, and yeah, I think there was a few contenders for man of the match, but I think Jaden just about took it on Saturday with I think his goal of the game, the fourth goal, where he played an outrageous 1-2 with Corey Andrews, who backheeled it back into his path and scored a ridiculous goal. So I think that's definitely going to be up there for one of the goals of the season.
And it's quite a family affair, isn't it, the Carbons at Oxford City, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got Jason Carbon, the uncle, and Josias Carbon, the father, both previously been involved in Oxford City and played for Oxford City. So yeah, I think it's the third Carbon that we've had playing at the club, and you could arguably say that this one is the best of the three, I think. And he's still only, how old is he? 19, 20? He's still very young, and there's a lot more to come from him, and I'm sure he's going to be featuring in a lot of games this season.
Well, Oxford City went on a bit of a goal fest Saturday, Patrick, but by all accounts, Banbury played out a bit of a bored draw at home to Stourbridge.
Yeah, I don't think there's much I can add to that really. I guess Simon Holyhead spoke after the game. It sounded like he thought it was a fairly even game between two evenly matched teams, but we'll let him say what he said. He spoke to Dave England from Puritan's Radio after the game.
I think it was a very cagey game between two pretty well matched teams. We probably had better situations than them in the first half, and then the sort of half of the second half they had a bit more offensive situations than us. So yeah, look, we knew it was going to be a tough game. They're well drilled. They've got more experience, and they've been together a lot longer as a core unit. But I thought at times it was a bit of a game of chess. Similar systems. They tweaked it in the second half. We tweaked it, and overall, probably the neutral would say it was a fair outcome. So, yeah, we move on.
Okay, a better performance from Didcot Town, Patrick, away at Willand Rovers.
Yeah, interesting game. It ended up drawing 1-1 there away at Willand Rovers. Match saw both sides reduce 10 men actually. Willand, their skipper, got sent off in very early doors for losing his head, I think is probably the best way of saying it. Seemed to get wound up by some Didcot players and decided to swing some punches and everything. So can't really complain about that. But yeah, Didcot took the lead on about a half hour. Didcot were reduced to 10 men in very bizarre fashion, actually. And we'll hear from Jamie Heapy in a moment, who was very frustrated, and I tend to agree with him, actually. It was one of those, it seems to be about a 50-50, and for some reason decided to send a Didcot player off. But yeah, Willand scored a late equaliser in the 85th minute. So yeah, we'll hear from Jamie Heapy now. He spoke to Daz King at full time.
2 points dropped. Yeah, 2 points dropped. But I'll say it. Yeah. For me, you're robbed 2 points.
Yeah, the red card.
The red card's a shock.
Yeah.
You know, for me,
they both had their feet up,
yeah,
and Owen won the ball. and I thought he was giving the free kick for us.
Yeah.
And then when all the lads were going over there, because Owen was just like had his head in his hands, I thought the worst then. I said he's going to send him off, and he did.
Yeah.
And a red card, nowhere near.
I mean, he's got to the ball first. But fair enough, they're both feet up. He's won the ball clearly.
Yeah.
And a second later, their lads clattered him.
Yeah.
So how the referee, who's
I know.
2 yards away.
But I called it at half time, Daz.
Yeah.
They had a player sent off first half, and I said, he'll even it up.
up.
They always do. I've been in this game too long, they always do. And that ain't a red card.
Never.
But take that out of it, we should have been outside.
Yeah. I mean,
it should be 3 points.
Well, Paul, Jamie Heapy was very honest chatting to the National Non-League paper at the weekend, saying how promotion to Step 3 the season before last was a step too far for Didcot Town. You know all about that from your experience at Oxford City, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? You get a promotion and you have a really good season, and you think, right, let's push on and get established in the higher division. But it is a massive jump. Every step is a big step, and you've got so much more to think about. Higher wages for the players, more travelling, longer travelling distances for what are part-time players that have got day jobs, and it is tough. And you don't really get any extra income from going up that step. You might get a few more on your attendance, but it is really difficult. And you've got some big clubs in the division, so it is hard. And I think, like we said previously, if you can keep your core players fit, you've got a chance of staying up. But what have you got as support players when you start to get injuries and suspensions? And that was what Oxford City suffered with last season in the National League. And I think Didcot had the same problem. And you're bringing in loan players all the time to try and fill the gaps. And some of the other clubs in that division have got strength in depth and can just bring on similar players. And we felt like we were like the Luton Town, weren't we? Playing against the Man Cities and the Liverpools, where you think Man City have got 3 players for every single place, whereas at Oxford City we were really looking at our youngsters to fill the gaps. And I think that's where Didcot are, and we've sent quite a number of players from City over to Didcot in the last few seasons to try and help them out. And it's great for the kids to get that experience, but it's really tough playing at that level against some experienced adult players.
Okay, Patrick, take us through what happened with the rest of our local teams, please, last weekend. Patrick Lock.
Yeah, we'll start with Kidlington in the Southern League Division 1 Central, and they picked up a big win, actually, against Enfield. They beat them 3-1 at Yarnton Road. Pofel Raposo scored twice, and Charlie Bacon, talking about Oxford City loanees a minute ago, and he's a player who's been in the City Academy recently. He scored as well to see them climb 2 points off the safety now from the relegation zone. So big win for them. Craig Mackay, the manager, was delighted, unsurprisingly. He spoke to the Kidlington media team after the game.
Between the staff and I, we spoke about a tactical change, but actually they obviously went 3-5-2, but I actually thought where we were 4-3-3, our front three was lending itself to that dropping into a 5 and going 4-5-1 in possession, but yet then we still did a good job of, we thought in the build up to this game about pressing them high in terms of making sure we could get some joy from that, and we did really first half, and we wanted to keep doing that. So the lads made really good decisions about almost doing half and half jobs where they could drop into a 5 or still go and press when the triggers were correct, and they did that really well. But yeah.
However, Northfleet's troubles continued actually on Saturday. They suffered a heavy 4-0 defeat away at Ware. They stayed bottom of the table. Tame did technically drop a couple of places, but they didn't play. So actually they got a game in hand and results vaguely went their way. So if they can win their game in hand, would go into the playoff spots. So some big games coming up for them. Ardley United picked up a big win in the Combined Counties Premier North. They beat Hollyport 2-1 at home. Lewis Gabardon gave them an early lead before Anaclet Adiombo made it 2 before half-time. Hollyport did get one back before half-time, but a goalless second half saw them hold on for a win. Mark Massingham, he was delighted as well with his team's performance, executing game plan perfectly, he said, and here's what he said to their media team at full-time.
Yeah, it was a very good game. Both teams, to be fair, if you watched it, you paid money for it, you'd be happy with that today. We had a game plan. We said at half time we did the game plan really, really well. We switched off once in the whole first half and they did punish us, but they're above us in the league, they're in the playoff places, they're a good team, and I thought first half we were really at it, executed it really well. Me and Jules and Els have been asking for the last 3 or 4 games just to get back to being hungry, just back to being a little bit nasty in a good way to get the ball back, and we were really, really good. Shape stayed good, and 2 good goals. Knock was unlucky with a free kick, but Gab gambles, and then Cletty gambles and does what he's done for 25 years. So, we had been doing that for a period of the season, and it's slowly coming back, and I think the boys got the reward for the hard work.
Elsewhere in that division, it was defeats from Milton United and Wallingford and Cromarsh. They suffered defeats at Egham Town and Amersham, respectively. While in the United Counties League, Easington's second match in 2 weekends against Histon saw Tottenham defeated 2-1 this weekend. In Division 1, Wantage Town kept up their good form. They won 3-2 against Bewdley Town. Steve Robertson was on the score sheet again, and Callum Crook scored a brace. Those 2 scoring lots of goals for Wantage at the moment, so they secured maximum points at home. Elsewhere, there's a huge win for Carterton. They won 4-0 at home to Newent Town to try and see their way up the table, as they're struggling a little bit at the moment. So that's a good win for them. And Aaron Woodley and Joe Green both scored for Abingdon United to see them to a 2-1 away win at FC Stratford. However, there were defeats for Killington Reserves and Clanfield in Step 6, and that wraps up Saturday's action. On Sunday, 2 defeats in a row actually for Oxfordshire United women. They fell to a 4-2 defeat away at Ipswich Town. They remain third in the division at the moment, but played the top 2 teams in the last couple of weeks, so a tough couple of games there. So hopefully you can start picking up some points in next weeks. Abingdon United women, they were defeated on penalties in the Barks and Bucks Cup against Reading FC Community Trust. That was goalless after 90 minutes, and then it went straight to penalties. But Oxford City women were victors to see them go top of the Southern Region Women's Football League Premier. They came from behind to beat AFC Porchester. Isabel Bradley scored a leveller on 28 minutes before something of a free cone goal a few minutes later. Supposedly a defender lobbing their own keeper saw City to the 3 points there to see them go top of the league. So that's what's happened this weekend, Colin.
Thank you very much indeed, Patrick Lock. And Paul Lyon, remind us where and when Whitley Town are playing this weekend.
It's another home game, Colin. We've had quite a number of home games all in a row now. We're playing East Oxford at home, 2 o'clock at Station Lane. I'm looking forward to another big crowd, and we need 3 points badly to get back up into the top 2.
Thanks a lot, Paul and Patrick Lock. Back to the main studio now for much more Oxford Sports Unleashed.